What's going on, everybody? How many of you, I dropped the paper, know what any of this means? LTC, BTC, ETH. What is that? Hey, what's a Bitcoin? That's what everybody else is asking themselves. So lately you've probably seen it on Yahoo and Google and all these other places. All these people are talking about Bitcoin and Coinbase and cryptocurrency and all these other things. So here's the thing. If you don't know what these are, you're missing out. You're missing out big. So there's a wave. I call it a tsunami. And it's just doing this. And it's starting to go up and up and up and up. And we're now 1,300 plus cryptocurrencies that you can get into and trade and just, hey, watch them accrue value. Most places you can use, well, not most places. There's plenty of restrictions right now, but guess what? All that's coming to an end because the websites are growing and growing and growing and growing. And what's multi-trillion-dollar industry, and it's not just a possibility. It's not a when, it's an if. It's not an if, it's a when. Nobody knows. Oh no, it's definitely a when, not an if. So check it out. If you want to know anything else about cryptocurrencies, such as these are the three of the top heads. And then you got ones like Ripple, and then you got Dash, and you got Zcash, and then you got Bitcoin Cash. You got all these other ones. There's multiple cryptocurrencies. And these three are three of the main that everybody really know about, only necessarily because Coinbase allows you to purchase them directly through Coinbase. And you can get that with credit card, MasterCard, Visa. You can get it with your bank account, wire transfers. And then there are many other exchanges, right, that you're able to use these and or others that you're able to buy with a credit card or bank account or whichever, and then trade. These people, you ever heard of foreign exchange? This is crypto exchange. Guess what? It's just as volatile, and guess what? You can take some serious profits and scalp like crazy if you know what you're doing. All right, I'm not telling you to invest, and I'm just holding this paper for reference because most people see these signs and they're like, "What's BTC, ETH? What are those acronyms for?" You know, but the acronyms are for something that is really shaping up the future, right? Every single new ICO, initial coin offering, from different companies that are making all of these different coins, there is a purpose for each and every one of them that they have. Now, lots of them are doing privacy factors and things like that, you know, to make your internet more secure with your transactions financially, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, these are assets. They're global assets. Some countries recognize them as currencies. Some don't. Some are, you know, restricting, you know, people trading them on different exchanges and cashing out and using them to pay for different merchandise here and there. But what does that mean? In my opinion, ultimately, I think they're scared. The government and the financial industry that we currently have, such as banks. Oh, wait, that's it. Oh, sorry, banks. So banks are not necessarily intimidated because the banks aren't stupid. Because if you do a little research into what is called blockchain, which is the ledger support that gives cryptocurrency ultimately its power, you know, and the fact that they're decentralized, because if it's centralized, it may or may not be a good thing. Ripple, for instance, is centralized. It's controlled by a company that created it. There's a certain amount of supply that they give you. Supply and demand makes the worth, right? So, but Ripple is backed by a handful of liquid companies like American Express. I want to say Microsoft. You know, and it was a rumor, and I knew it was a rumor that it was going to go on to Coinbase. But guess what? I capitalized on that. You know why? Because fear and greed. Any of you real investors, you know what that means. Fear and greed of the market. Volatility. That's another big word. Guess what? The more volatile, the more probability you have of, yes, you could lose, or you can make out big, right? Volatility factor right now is the greed factor that is giving this whole crypto market just this boost of just blow up everything, right? You're talking about cryptos that are trading at like 50 thousandths of a penny, and then in 2 weeks they're $2. Can you understand what what's happening there, okay? And I'm giving a lot of information right now. Some of you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. Some of you are going to start commenting down below, this guy's an idiot. This guy is going to lose all his money. This guy's going to, cryptocurrency is going to crash. It's just you younger generation's version of what we tried to do in the 90s. And guess what? You may be right, but guess what? It ain't happening right now. I know a handful of people who have made out very handsomely with cryptocurrency. You see all this ad with some guy named Al Tucher, it's probably not even his real name, that supposedly made $1.8 million on one trade, which is likely Bitcoin, just because it shot up so high. It touched $20,000 a few weeks back. And guess what? It trickled down to 12 because everybody was like, oh God, I'm scared it's going to crash. Give me my money. Sold out. Price falls. Now there's other variables that go into it besides that. But likely, the most affected it's the end of the year. December is here. 2018 is about to pop. And what's this cryptocurrency market going to do? Bitcoin's 50 times or 1,000 times higher than it's ever been. At $20,000, it touched on a few exchanges. It was trading ultimately at 19 and some change. And then it went down to 12. Oh my God. Had several people that had talked to me, when I comment on something about cryptocurrency, and they're like, hey man, Bitcoin crashed. You didn't see that last night? Crashed to what? Look at the 1 month gain, dude. It's still $4,000 over what it was last month. So guess what? At that point, it was 12. 4,000 prior was 8. The trading price was $7,500 to $8,500 1 month before. So guess what? You don't have to buy a whole coin. I don't have $8,500. I don't have $1,000. I don't have $15,000. You don't have to. You can buy percentages. And guess what? Your percentages gain through the decimals as it grows. So if it goes from 5,000 to 20,000, which it did, extremely volatile. No, I ain't never gonna do that. There's people that think it'll hit $100,000, and it's a possibility because Bitcoin's supply in the coin is going down. Every 4 years, they shave off some, and they take them out of circulation, destroy them, hold them, whatever it is they're doing. We don't specifically know. But what I do know is that the value is steadily increasing and very stable. Ethereum is a very stable cryptocurrency compared to Litecoin per se that hit, I think it was almost $500 per coin when it was just at $35 a coin in August. Think about that for a minute. 35. You could have invested $300 and then walked away with $3,000 just by holding it for a few months in the same place, right? So I'm going to cut this video off and I'm going to make another one later. So I'm going to see what kind of response I get to this. And if anybody is interested in learning about cryptocurrency, how you can capitalize, how you can get a hold of other coins, because this is something that nobody's going to tell you for free generally. You can Google search all day long. You'll find a good bit of information. You may or may not find tutorials. You may or may not find somebody on YouTube that's actually breaking the stuff down for you. But chances are they're going to do what I'm going to tell you. And that's going to be that for a small fee, I will give you my information, because guess what? Nobody, is really giving out, you don't have, financial brokers out here telling you specifically, because it's all speculation generally anyway, that, Amazon is going to be worth $1,000 in the future. If you buy it right now at whatever price, say $10 is what it might have been, back, 20 years ago. And guess what? Boom! $1,000. Do you know how rich there are some people out here right now because of that? Something so small. And it could have been speculation. It could have been the fear greed factor. It could have been, hey, I know this tech company is going to blow up because these billionaires over here invested in it, and this is what's going to happen. And just hold your money in there. Trust me. Because you know what? And speculation is not a bad thing. Speculation can be great. Speculation can hurt you. And speculation can make you rich, right? And let's face it. Now, I'm not saying money is the most important thing in the world, but I will say if you don't think that you can have a higher quality of life and a little easier sleeping at night with more money, then you're fooling yourself. Because welcome to America. If you make less than 20 grand a year, there is a high probability that you are in poverty right now. You're likely getting government support. I don't have anything against that. All right? I know plenty of people that are on it, and I even used it once back into one time. when I had my first child, it was rough. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't stable yet in my financial career. I didn't know what I was doing. But, when you can take such a small amount of money, you can learn how to invest. You can learn what to invest in. This is not financial advice. Let me go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. I think I forgot to do it in the beginning of the video. I'm not giving you financial advice. You may or may not lose money or make money depending on, what's happening. It could be the stock market crash, the cryptocurrency could crash, the, option trade you set up could just go completely south and, you forgot to mitigate risk and you lost all your money. Of course you can lose money, but you have to learn how to make money work for you. You think all these people are running around all these videos? That's why I'm making this one. It's like, dude, the wave is it's incredible, right? I know a guy that put $1,000 into a cryptocurrency that I've been checking out back in August. Actually, he went ahead and put $1,000 into one coin. This coin was trading at about 75 cents when I told him, 25 cents when I first saw it, 75 cents when I told him, and he got it at 95 cents per coin, $1,000. So he got about 1,010 of these coins. Well, guess what? 3 months later, the coin cost went to $18 per coin. Now, the very simple math is 1,000 times 18, and we all know what that is. That's $18,000 in 3 months. Dude, that is a high probability of people in America's yearly salary in 3 months off of a $1,000 investment. You didn't have to put $1,000. You can break that down in any variable you want to, and any percentage you want to, and calculate it up to see how much you could have gotten. Guess what? People can pay off cars with that. People can pay off all their debt with that. Because guess what? By risking and mitigating your risk to a very small potential, with the exception of the wave is here and the time is now. If you want anything to do with cryptocurrency, there's exchanges right now that are limiting new users and they're not accepting new users and all these things. But don't be scared, because what they're doing is likely rebooting their computer systems, getting more people in the tech field that can help from overload. Because when Bitcoin touched 20, there was so many people getting in it and so many people selling off and then new people buying in. Oh my gosh. But guess what? I told a few people, hey, if you're going to invest in something, do it now. Don't wait, because the price is down. I guarantee you, and not financial advice, this was talking to this person. Guess what? No matter what amount they invested in, I don't know what it was, I don't know how much it was, but the price went from $12,000 that night to the very next day it was back to $16,000. And then it played around at 14 and 15 and 16 and 14 and 15, 16. And guess what? Now it's back over 16 and it's staying there, slowly rising. It touched 17 again. But it just shows. I talked to an investor who was teaching a stock market class, and I was in this class, and I asked him about cryptocurrency and what he thought. And he goes, that's why I said this about our generation's, changing the world, the economy, or financially, or, however you want to do it. But the fact is, the cryptocurrency has actually been around for a while. It's been around since 2003 to 6, somewhere in that range is when it first started being created and used online, mainly for gaming and things like that, as token rewards and stuff. But now it's different, because it's not going anywhere. It's going to be adopted by the world, the governments, whoever. The banks are going to be using blockchain ledger type smart contracts so they can better keep track of the banking information, et cetera, et cetera. And you could do lots of Google searching and find these things, but a lot of times you're not going to find the real detail that you need unless you really read, because reading has power. There's lots of people that say read books every day. I don't read a book every day, but I do a lot of reading every day. And you got to look past all the crap that's in the front of you, because generally people are like, oh, Bitcoin's going to crash. If $12,000 is crashing, I don't want to know what blowing up is, because, if $12,000 is crashing in some people's mind, just from, 19,000 to 12,000, yes, that's a massive volatility spike drop, but it recovered overnight. and it's back to 16 grand, only 3,000 shy of its all-time high, but it's still almost $10,000 higher than 1.5 months ago. 10 grand! Come on! But anyway, I'm getting off track here. So, like I said, I'm going to cut this video short. This is not financial advice. If you watch this video to the end, I'm going to put this in the about me that this is not financial advice and disclaimer. If you lose your own money, that's your fault. Don't invest money you don't have. Don't invest your rent money. Don't invest your car payment money. Don't max out credit cards trying to buy cryptocurrencies. Understand what you're doing, okay? Don't screw yourself up. Don't get in debt with credit cards trying to play with cryptocurrencies and then you can't pay your bills anymore and all these kind of things. But I will tell you this. These are the three big ones. Ripple just actually jumped past Litecoin and Ethereum and now is right up under Bitcoin market cap wise at over $100 billion market cap. That was barely hundreds of millions just a few months ago. And Bitcoin is, of course, still number one because it's the original and most traded and is traded against nearly every cryptocurrency altcoin that there is. But Ethereum is very stable as well, in my opinion. Litecoin is a very volatile piece. It's been low for a long time. It was $35 in August. Now it spiked up to nearly 500. I think it almost crested 500 if it didn't pass it on some exchanges. And now it's trading at 290, right? So let's just simple math. Like I said, $300 in August, you got 3 grand right now, and you could have cashed out, at the higher mark and then turned around and reinvested when the price went back down to 220, or you could have put it into a different crypto or alt currency. And there's multiple ways to get your money from one place to another as far as Coinbase goes. You get Coinbase. I love Coinbase. I'll put the link down in the description. Coinbase is great because it's the starting place. But, limited users, Coinbase is still allowing new users to happen. They're overloaded, so things are taking a little longer than normal, but it's okay. This is the future. And even if it crashed 2 or 3, 4, 5 years from now, guess what? If you can make, disclaimer, I'm not guaranteeing anything. My results aren't the same as your results. Other people's results are better than my results, or worse. If you can make even a few $1,000s extra on top of your investment, so not including your investment, this is a few thousand profit. Anything above what you invested is profit. All right, and if you don't understand that a $1 profit is still profit, then you're already losing investing, right? Now, I'm not saying you want to invest $1,000 and make $1. That just sounds stupid. But if it's a guaranteed dollar that you could put 1,000 here, boom, made $50. 1,000 here, boom, made $50. 1,000 here, boom, made $50. Guess what? You just made $150 on the same movement of money. Now, it could be way more than that. You could put, as I said, a guy I know, he put 1,000 in, and now it's worth $18,000 just 3 months later. 3 months. He could pay off his car. He could pay off plenty of credit cards with that, I'm sure. He could probably put a giant down payment on his, down payment on a new house or pay off his old house, or put that into the payoff of the old house, or just splurge. Yes, you will have to pay taxes on the money. It's capital gains. Pay attention. Go research capital gains. You can find out large capital gains, short capital gain, or small capital gain, however you want to say it, right? And you have different things, that lead into it. You have up to $10,000 is 10%. This is all under a year and a day. And if you cash out prior to that time. And then if you go over a year and a day, up to 40 grand, you're pretty much scotch-free, right? As long as you hold it in there, you don't cash it out, you don't touch it, you leave it alone, you let it keep growing its value. Hopefully it maintains its value. So in my opinion, if I made $500,000 on an investment, and I was even remotely fearing that the crypto per se, or whatever it was, could be a penny stock or a major stock like Amazon or something like that. But if I feared so much that it was just going to just crash, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose all my money. I'm going to lose so much or go back way down to what I started with, and I'm not going to have any real profit, right? The profit in your paper account is different than the profit in your bank account, because when you transfer it to your bank account, that's when it becomes a gain. When it's in your, per se, a Fidelity account with a brokerage, if it's in your paper account, it's profit. They're keeping track of what you're doing, trust me, because your social's involved, your name and all these other things, your job. They want to know what you're working, what you're doing. Cryptocurrency is slightly different, but Coinbase is still in the United States and it is still registered and it is monitored. There was people in 2013 to 2015 who were like, yo, we just made millions of dollars. We're not gonna tell the IRS nothing. We're just gonna cash it out and put it over here, and pay off houses and buy Lambos. Because guess what? You can. But you need to pay your taxes, right? We all pay taxes. Anybody that doesn't pay taxes, you're either a genius or you're just, I don't even know the other description of the word I was looking for. But if all of us have to pay taxes, you have to pay taxes too. If you know how to get out of it, then, like I said, you're a genius or you're an a-hole. It depends on who you're talking to, who you want to look at it. But fact of the matter is, use your common sense. If you make $500,000 and they're going to take 39.6% if you cash it out right now, you're going to get 60.4% of all of the money that you just made out of 500 grand. So you're close to what? Can't even do that math in my head right now. But here's the thing. Say your investment was $5,000. We'll just say 5 grand. You made 500,000. You're taking 60.4% of the entire investment and letting the IRS have the rest. Guess what? You still made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of $5,000. Of course you want all your money. If you can find a way around it, if you can hold out and you have that strong faith that your investment, regardless of whether it's stock market or cryptocurrency or bonds or mutual funds, which is garbage anyway, if you have your money in that, then you're hurting yourself. And it's just ridiculous. Get your money in the right places. Let the money work for you. I've heard that since I was young. Going back to what I was about to mention earlier is that there was a guy in 2008. This is before Bitcoin blew up. This guy was in a raggedy Nissan truck. I worked at an automotive shop. He had a very nice suit on. And it threw me off because I'm like, why is this guy wearing such a nice suit, but he's driving this just ugly, raggedy 80s model Nissan pickup truck? And I'm like, it doesn't look right. I'm young. I don't have any money. I have a hospital bill I'm trying to pay where I got hurt when I was 19. I had $5,500 went to collections I had to pay. And it's like, what? How am I going to? Okay, so I got payment. Man, I'm paying out $150 a month to these people trying to get this hospital bill taken care of because it's on my credit. I'm just crashing because that's so important in life. And it is. Credit scores is a wonderful tool for you to use in any financial investment. As far as cars, houses, etc., because the interest rate is what will kill you. If you could get a $200 payment, but if your interest rate 30%, then you're going to get reamed. But anyway, so this guy, we're sitting there talking. I'm working on his truck. He's like, oh, yeah, man, you got out of high school, and, do you do any investing? And I was like, what do you mean? And, I don't know what investing is. They didn't teach you that in school. They teach you how to be part of the system, man. They teach you how to do A, B, C, D. They don't teach you how to make money. If they did that, then everybody would be rich. Well, most of us. But they don't teach you that. It's up to you to be successful. The 1% or 10% or 5%, however many percentage you want to say that are rich in the nation and or the world, despite the ones who inherited a crap ton of money or land or gold or whatever it was, the ones who make themselves rich, some of your Shark Tank people, some of your Warren Buffetts out there, who make a guaranteed percentage return. If they don't make that, they don't want it. They have to have it. But if you're not making that kind of money because you didn't learn it, you need to learn how to get it, right? I'm not saying you need to be a billionaire before you die, but I'm saying you can't retire with $1 million now unless you live in a house that's 500 square feet. Everything you own is paid for, and you have no bills, no credit cards, no new payments for anything, or any of that kind of thing, right? But the fact of the matter is, you need to be financially stable in some fact. Because if you don't have that cushion, Social Security is probably not going to be there for our younger generation, right? I'm almost 30 years old, but I will say this. if you think Social Security is going to be there by the time we retire at 65 or 70, whatever age they put it at, you're fooling yourself. Hey, if it's there, it's great. But guess what? Depending on your yearly salary, it's going to be between, I don't know, $800 to $2,000 a month. If that. Most of them are $1,000. Most people I know on Social Security, they're around $1,000, if that. Unless they had a pension from some company that's giving them pretty handsome, monthly results on retirement, and or the 401k they may or may not have. But I'll tell you what, I'm calculating my 401k, I'm calculating my expenses, I'm calculating how I want to live when I retire, vacations and things like that, plenty of family time. Hey guys, come over here, let's fly you all into Hawaii or something. You can't do that with $1 million. You can't do that with $2 million. Unless you're continually reinvesting money that you have back into something to make you more return, more percentage, that's at least 15 to 20% minimum. You need to be turning 25 to 35%. And I've heard that a few times a couple years ago, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of percentage. And I was like, nobody can make that. You're making like 1.3% on your savings account that you got $800,000 in. But guess what? You're getting 1% on 800 grand. That ain't nothing. That's pathetic. What if you had 20% on that? Do you ever know what compound interest is? Compound interest would turn that 800,000 into all kind of money. And it's insane. But I tell you what, my 401k, I'm watching it. I watch it. And I watched it do this. And I was like, ooh, that's looking nice. What happened? Where's my money? How did I go from $17,000 to $9,000? Whatever they were investing my money in that brokerage, something happened. Somebody dropped the ball, or somebody's company collapsed. The S&P did something. The Russell did something. The Dow did something. Whatever the case is, you need to know how to make your money work for you. And I've heard this a long time. And let me go back to the guy in the Nissan truck, because he gave me 3 pieces of advice. He said, well, since you're this age, can you set aside $20 to $50 to $100 a month? I said, well, no, man, I ain't got that kind of money. I got the hospital bill I'm paying. I got my car payment I'm paying, my credit card, I got it, and I'm trying to, I just got out of high school. I don't have a place to live. I'm living at my parents' house, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, let me tell you something. Gold is about to blow up. Silver is about to blow up. You look pretty tech savvy. Are you play with computers at all? Well, yes, sir, I do. You ever heard of Bitcoin? What's a Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is an online currency that's going to be coming up in the next few years. And if you can't invest in gold or silver, you should invest in Bitcoin. Well, how do I do that? Well, you can mine it. You can do what? You can mine it. You can get programs on your computer, you can mine it. What do you mean mine it? I'm thinking I'm out here with an axe and digging up something. No, you mine it with your computer. Do you know that when you mine coins back then, you could make coins on your own computer with different programs? And we're talking people that had hundreds of thousands of these coins that are now worth $16,000 a piece. In 2008, if you look back at the price charts of Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure I'm at the right prices. About 2008 was 0.00007 of a cent. So that is in the 10,000th place of a penny to the right. I got to put $100 in there and got upwards of a couple 100,000 tokens, coins, whatever you want to call it. Dude, I'd be a millionaire. Billionaire even. By an investment that I had no clue about, because I didn't know. They don't teach you that. They don't tell you in commerce class in school, and in your economy class, or whatever you want to call it, that they call it now, and business management and all these things. They're not telling you about capital gains. They're not telling you about investing in the stock market. They sent a guy in there one time that said, if you put $100 a month for the next 18 years of your life, you'll have $1 million. I should have listened. I could have had $1 million. I didn't have $100 a month to invest, because they don't teach you how important that is. Because now when you're 30 years down the road and you're working your butt off at this job that you may or may not like, hopefully you love your job, because that'll make it a little easier when you're 70 years old and you can't hardly walk and you look back at your life. Well, at least I love my job or career, whatever you want to call it. Because right now, most people, dude, these people are avoiding retirement because they don't have a retirement. They don't have enough money to retire. Most of them were affected just by, 10 years ago in 2008 when the housing market collapsed, which was likely an engineered destruction of reaping people's money because they were giving people that make 10 grand a year freaking $300,000 houses. I wish I could have got a $300,000 house back then. I would have jumped on it. But guess what? I didn't. And because I know I couldn't pay for it, because the land cost, the house property taxes, the flipping payment alone was probably $4,000, $5,000, $10,000. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, I'm not paying for that. Well, ultimately the payment was probably about $2,000 for a $300,000 house, but whatever. It's not the point. The point is, the market collapsed. I know a person I met at the stock market class that was in there trying to find out how they could make money. They were 60 years old. They lost all of their retirement in that collapse. That's depressing. That is super depressing. Now, granted, at that time it wasn't much, but she was much younger. This is 2008. This is years and years ago. She wasn't retired yet. She wasn't ready to retire. $85,000 was the amount she told me she had. After months of waiting and calling everybody, they cut her a check for $5,000. $5,000. That's it. $5,000 out of 80,000. I think it was 87,000 is what she said it was. 83, 87. She got $5,000. Out of all of this time saving and saving and saving and saving and saving and saving, it may or may not have a little bit of company contribution, which they don't do anymore. And in the school system, I think is what she said she did. And $5,000. What are you gonna do with $5,000 if you try to retire? Nothing. You're gonna buy food for a year if you ate ramen noodles and bread, and then you're done. Now you got to go find another job to pay for it again. How ridiculous is that, man? If I would have listened to this smart man in this super nice suit, because I couldn't connect the dots, because having a raggedy Nissan truck didn't make sense for somebody who's giving me financial advice. But I'm young, I didn't know. This guy was likely rich and just came in, get his little Nissan truck serviced. Nice suit, so presentable, business. Likely worked at a firm or something, I don't know. Maybe just an investor, I don't know. He might not have been rich, I don't know. Maybe he's just really smart and just had a whim that, hey, Bitcoin is going to blow up. But guess what? Gold did. Silver did. Everybody on the corner was selling and buying gold. Hey, you got jewelry, we buy gold. Hey, the sign on the corner at Walmart, we buy gold. Hey, this pawn shop, every single pawn shop in my county was buying gold. And then scrap metal went through the roof. They're trying to get all these platinums and things out of these different metals. But gold and silver and then Bitcoin. What is a Bitcoin? In 2013, Bitcoin jumped to unreal numbers at hundreds and hundreds of dollars per coin.